مساء الخير أعزائي المشاهدين، وأهلا مع شبكة التلفزيون. عيناك غابتا نخيل ساعة السحر، أو شرفتان راح ينأى عنهما القمر. عيناك حين تبسمان تورق الكروم، وترقص الأضواء كالأقمار في نهر يرجه المجداف وهنا ساعة السحر. كأنما تنبض في غوريهما النجوم، وتغرقان في ضباب من أسى شفيف. كالبحر سرح اليدين فوقه المساء، دفء الشتاء فيه وارتعاشة الخريف، والموت والميلاد والظلام والضياء. فتستفيق ملء روحي رعشة البكاء، ونشوة وحشية تعانق السماء، كنشوة الطفل إذا خاف من القمر. كأن أقواس السحاب تشرب الغيوم، وقطرة فقطرة تذوب في المطر. وكركر الأطفال في عرائش الكروم، ودغدغت صمت العصافير على الشجر أنشودة المطر. مطر مطر مطر. بدر شاكر السياب. أعزائي المشاهدين، لا تظنون أن القضايا العربية مجهولة 100% في الغرب. فهناك في الغرب صحفيين ونواب برلمان ورجالات سياسة ممن يهتمون بالقضية العربية ويعرفون أين يكون الحق في السياسة الدولية. من ضمن هؤلاء الرجال عضو كونغرس الأمريكي هو السيد رحال، ضيفنا هذا المساء. والسيد رحال عام 82 قابل ياسر عرفات، ومع هذا ومع صعوبة هذا الأمر احتفظ بمقعده في الكونغرس. هو عام 86 تبنى مشروع قيام دولة فلسطينية مستقلة، وهو يزور الكويت حاليا مع وفد اللجنة الأمريكية العربية لمكافحة التمييز. سنعمل معه هذا اللقاء، لأنه لا يتكلم العربية سيكون اللقاء بالإنجليزي في ترجمة على الشاشة. Good evening, Nick.
Good evening.
May I welcome you to this program in Kuwait Television?
It's indeed my honor to be on Kuwait Television.
We are really interested in what you are doing there as a congressman in the United States, and we would like to ask you a few questions, if we may.
Sure. Be glad to answer.
As a congressman, Nick, how would you evaluate the attitude of the American Congress toward Middle East issues?
Well, the American Congress, as a reflection of the will and viewpoints of the American people, recognize that the United States has very valid and very vital security interests in the Middle East. It is in the United States' best interest that we have peace in this region. It is in the United States' best interest to see the continued free flow of oil through the Arabian Gulf. That was one of the biggest reasons behind our reflagging of the Kuwaiti ships during the Iran-Iraq War. The Congress tries to follow through on this reflection of the American viewpoint and of their own determination that U.S. interests are best served by peace in the Middle East. Now, Congress is often different from the presidency. We have the two branches of government. The president has a policy. Sometimes Congress agrees with that policy, sometimes they don't. When it comes to the sale of arms to moderate Arab states, for example, the president may want to sell those arms, but because a certain bloc in the Congress that serves on the committee that must approve those arms sales objects, then the president will not submit his arms proposal to the Congress. So the president may want to do one thing, but the Congress has a say. But overall, Congress is concerned, vitally concerned, about what happens in the Middle East. And after all, as Americans under our Constitution, we must look after our interests first.
Are there few Arab friends or friends of the Arab among the congressmen in the American Congress?
Yes, I would say there are definitely are those members of Congress that still abiding by our constitutional duties to do what is in America's best interest first, still recognizing the best interests of their constituencies that elect them to go to the United States Congress, are able to see the Middle East in an objective manner. Many have traveled this region, of course. They know the problems here. They know the true facts on the ground here in the Middle East, and they want very much to improve the U.S. image in all of the Middle East. And I think that that includes perhaps some revision in current policy toward this area, and a desire to see peace pushed a little bit harder, a desire to see justice done in the Middle East, a desire to see human rights observed in the Middle East as we want to see it observed in all parts of the world.
Right.
So I think there are many and a growing number in the Congress that are concerned about today's U.S. policy in the Middle East.
Let's come closer and closer to the Middle East, and let me ask you, what's the effect of the Intifada on the American public opinion?
Well, we're nearing the 2-year anniversary of the Intifada, and that has had a dramatic effect in American politics and throughout the public opinion in our country. The daily images on TV of individuals deciding that they want to take their own future in their hands, to have their homeland, to determine their future as any human being should have that right. I think finally the American people are getting the full story of what has been occurring in the West Bank and Gaza for the last 40 years, of a people that have been suppressed, that have been living under occupation, that have had enough and are taking their own future in their hands. So I think the Intifada has brought an awakening to the American people and a further education of just what is happening in the Middle East and how we can best solve the Palestinian homeland question. I think you will find many more people questioning their representatives in Congress, questioning their senators in the Congress, questioning them as to why we are not doing more in the Congress, or why the President is not doing more to secure a peace in the Middle East. So the Intifada has had a very positive attitude among the American people.
As I know, you are of Lebanese origin. Your parents, your grandparents went to the United States, found in 1902.
Yes, that's good.
And definitely you have visited the Middle East, and most likely you are familiar with what's happening and what's going on in Lebanon. What are the chances, in your opinion, of having peace in Lebanon?
Well, Lebanon has been through 15 years of tragic warfare. There's been massive destruction, loss of life, and the people still have a determination, in my opinion, to rebuild their country. I was there just 3 weeks ago, met for nearly 4 hours with General Michel Ayoun, also went to West Beirut, met with Dr. Haas. And it was my desire at that time to show the Lebanese people that the American people, the American Congress, has not given up on that country, and that we all still have hope for peace. I'm very optimistic. We have a new president in the country of Lebanon now that is recognized internationally. We have just returned our U.S. ambassador to Beirut to meet and present his credentials to the new president. Unfortunately, has not yet been able to move into the presidential palace in Babda because General Ayoun is still dissatisfied with the agreement that was reached in Taif. I think the Taif agreement, while it may not be perfect, is a beginning point from which we can work toward a lasting peace in Lebanon. And I would hope General Ayoun, as I told him in my meeting with him, would recognize this, stress the positive, and that he, while he has a legitimate concern about the lack of a Syrian definite timetable for Syrian withdrawal, he still should give peace a chance and allow the current agreement to work so that we don't have a further bloodshed in the country of Lebanon. So I'm hopeful that in the not too distant future that General Ayoun will recognize the new president, will prevent a permanent partition of Lebanon, which his actions very well could cause to happen, and will do what he knows is best and for the country of Lebanon that he loves so dearly.
As I know, you have been associated in helping some Arab organizations in the United States, like the ADC. Can you tell me a little bit about the role of such Arab organizations in the States?
Well, the Arab American Anti-Discrimination Committee, ADC, that you've mentioned, has played a very successful role in American politics and in the perception of Arabs in America. You know, it's very frustrating sometimes because a certain lobby will promote the idea that all Arabs are terrorists. That is a perception that we have to fight almost on a daily basis in the American public opinion. ADC fights that stereotyping of Arabs in our media and has been successful when certain advertisers will try to equate Arabs with terrorism. They will come and take those people to court and win and prevent them from continuing to do that. Other groups that will lobby the Congress, such as the NAAA, other groups that will educate the American people on college campuses, such as American Arab Affairs Council. All of these groups, Arab American groups in Washington, have a legitimate role to play in helping change American public opinion. Because, let's face it, the policy coming out of Washington, and especially out of the Congress, is driven and will only change if the ideas and the education of the American people push them to change.
That's right.
So we have to present to the American people the very positive side of the Arab world. We have to show them how important the Arab world is to the United States. Culturally, socially, economically, educationally, it's important we have these many different programs in which the peoples get to know one another to a much greater degree than we have. Because there is a great deal of love and a great deal of friendship between the peoples of the Middle East and the United States. It's when it comes to policy that we have our differences.
Yeah. In the last few seconds that's left to us, may I ask you if congressmen like yourself who are interested in the Arab affairs and might defend such issues in the United States would be under any kind of pressure from other organizations?
Well, those organizations do exist in Washington. They exist legitimately under our democratic system of government. Any ethnic group has the democratic right, legal right under our system to organize their people in the United States and to present that group's viewpoints to the Congress of the United States. They have the right to become involved in our political system. That is all guaranteed them under our Constitution. What I stress and what I am most concerned about is when certain groups perhaps are looking more after the interests of a particular country other than the United States, that I get concerned. All of this organization and ethnic groups forming lobbies is fine, but their number one goal should always be what is in the best interest of the United States. That has to be paramount. And when that is taken for granted or when it is slighted in any way, then I fault that group that has organized and think they need to be taken into account.
Mr. Nick Rehal, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.